That was great introduction. It's great to be here. Those other readings were fantastic. I loved the poker alien essay so much. It was so good. And I loved the question and answer piece too. That was amazing. Thanks to everybody for having me here. I'm going to read poems from a forthcoming book. It won't be out till 2019, and it's a book of what I like to call pornographic pastorals. They're poems that are sexually explicit poems about feminist pleasure, and they also are aware of the world that we're destroying all around us. Those were the parameters I gave myself for the poems. And it was really, I was writing into a void that I was perceiving in American poetry right now, which is that there's a lot of poems about sexual trauma, which is a really important thing to write poems about, but there weren't that many poems about sexual pleasure. So I decided that needed to be remedied. So I'm going to read a bunch of those pieces tonight. The first one's called I Am an Animal. First, I was an animal. First, I wanted to be an animal who survives, who lives, who eats yolk and red fruit, who drinks clear water, who sleeps down in a tight, thick curl all winter, who daisy faces toward the summer sun when it peeks out, who runs, who hungers, who fucks. First, I wanted to fuck, to turn in this moment all the way into my flesh like a starred sky and think of nothing else, to explode. First, I wanted to explode and be exploded into, to be wet all over, to be filled with creamy life, to be sticky, to be pregnant. First, I wanted to be pregnant, to breed, to extend past the length of my own bruised limb, to sow, to expand everywhere like a broke-up seed, to burst the dirt of it all. First, I wanted to birth, to moan and quicken with the moon and squat in the dawn and push and scream the names of gods I never cared about before, to pop the blood in my eyes with the effort, to split half up the ass, to come as close to death as possible, to lull a head out of my vagina and squat there, doubled, mothered, knowing it. First, I wanted to mother, to eat the smell of new skin, to feed the babe from my own calloused and bitten inches, to feed on its love, to never sleep, to sleep like fur, to obsess, to squirt milk when I made myself come in the dim few hours I had alone. First, I did not want to come. I wanted to do nothing but nurse and sleep and not sleep and prod gently at my other body through the deflated and heavy fat of my body like a fossil, and to mother. I wanted to mother that baby right up. First, my baby stood up and stopped nursing, and I wept and let my arms hang down and went for a run, and my body excavated itself from the extra fat, and something sparked in me, a flint that was the other kind of animal sense again, tiger, bear, firefly, wolf, bunny, buffalo, bitch in heat, that was my libido that wanted to fuck, and I set the baby aside in a safe, warm nest and went out hunting. Again and again, a cycle of seasons of mating and fucking and sleeping dormant and breeding and raising up cubs and sniffing their slipperiest hairs, their powdery drool of wanting. It comes, it flows, when I am full of a child, and then when my arms are newly full of a new child, we are a bubble on a stream, and I am practically nothing but milk and lowing. Then the child walks, and the milk dries, and my body thins, and all I can think about is cock and jizz again. And then I want to fuck, and I want to come, and I want to be knocked up, and I want to only carry this baby so its heartbeat is directly up against my heartbeat, and I want to sleep, and I want to run in the mud, and I want to dance, and I want to eat red meat, and I want to fuck. Because first, blessedly, I am an animal. Is it like a Flagstaff thing that you clap after every poem? I love it. It's amazing. You feel so much love. They don't do that elsewhere in the country. I don't know if you know that, but they don't clap. Sometimes they don't even make any noise. So, yeah. It's tonight. Yeah, everyone's really happy because of the hail. Yeah, the hail made everybody really happy. Yeah, new moon. That's right. So yeah, I mean, partly why I wrote these poems is because I was mostly known for writing about motherhood before this, and kind of still am because this book isn't out yet. And all of these people really assume that if you write about motherhood and you're a mother and you're known for that, then that, like you can't also write about sex. Right, exactly. Right, exactly. Like the disconnect is very crazy, but that is true, that people feel that way. So part of these poems was really and also as Jesse said, I dropped out of actually a tenured position at Columbia College in Chicago and moved to Maine, and everybody in the poetry community who knew me, like in the country, sort of was like, oh, how wholesome of you. That's you're going to just like be a farmer and just have babies, and there's part of that that's kind of true. And also, so I was really writing these poems to think about like what it means to be wholesome and what it means to be dirty and all that good stuff. So this one's called Chassis. A lot of these poems are about rural living, so to speak. The moon is full tonight, nearly. My gut knows it. No, you misheard me. I said my cunt knows it. No, I said my wolfy hair curls from it. But I only saw her from the kitchen window tonight and didn't even roam into any forest at all, which is, after all, what I came here to the country to do. What good is a community in the slosh between winter and spring when I live inside my head house with the fire going? What good is an open marriage when I'm so goddamn choosy and don't go outdoors when the moon pulls my name? Everyone here has a truck, has a pickup. And what I love about men is how they are men, the whole goddamn machine of them. The chassis, the engine, the drive shaft, the flatbed, how they constantly jack off into their own big hands, how they are hardwired, as I too have come to believe, to ignore context and just see the damn trees. I do understand them, actually. They make total sense to me, the way you know where to put me, even if you're not built like I am. Trust your totem animal. Trust the moon. I have come, which is an act of believing. I have believed this way probably 12,000 times in my life so far. And you are hard now. It makes me wired to know so. How you act like your chromosomes when the silver disc is lodged in my throat. No, I said my throat. No, I said, just tell me where you want to put me and what you want to do. This is another poem about masculinity, which I'm pretty interested in as a concept. It's a concept. It's an interesting concept. This is called the pornographic imagination. I was really happy for the masturbation stuff in Gavin's work because it was like a really great segue. Thank you for that. Thanks for putting some masturbation in at the end. I appreciate it. The pornographic imagination. It takes 3 to 7 minutes to iron a man's shirt, which is also the average time it takes an average man to reach climax during fornication. You say it makes you feel like a man to see me bend over and undo the button at the back of my skirt. And what does that mean, to feel like a man? Are we talking about hormones? About constructs? I know it's essentialist, but you say you can while away the time spent online at Whole Foods looking at the cute girl in combat boots buying spelt flakes, and that in 3 to 5 seconds, you can picture what she'd look like kneeling in front of you, sucking you off. My husband says it's constant, a stream. I could do her, and I could do her, whoever happens by. My brother-in-law says every second he is not thinking about something specific, he is pulling something out of the mental spank bank. Every second. This, I guess, is one way to feel like a man. I do not go in sexually for the shit or the sucker punch, but here's what I'm finding out I do like. Shove me against the wall, bite my bottom, no, harder, where I can feel it through the fat and sinew. And just after I come and am glazing off into the sunset, slap my face. Knock me down with your circumference of flesh and don't let me up. I didn't know I liked these things, but I do, and they remind me in the sweetest ways of those evenings of my childhood, not of any abuse or harm, but of the satisfaction of a little self-selected violence enjoyed. They remind me in the sweetest ways of my animalhood. I once read an article about Jerry Garcia's wife, Carolyn, who got called Mountain Girl and thought she was so beautiful and her name so beautiful and wild and free, which is also a little how I think of you when you live with your boys in the rainy mountains and your long night of hair and your daytime eyes. I don't even care for the dead. I mean the band. I do care for the dead. Like you, Sarah, I love ghosts dearly. Love a good day to die. Erotic asphyxiation turns up about 345,000 results on Google. Sarah, I want to tell you that we defeated the bid for the building of the petroleum tank where the mountains meet the sea. We stood in a circle as big as the tank, me and the kids and Rob and Mike and hundreds from the town and the county, and did the people's microphone to let everyone know about the hearings. And we sang songs and held hands, and it worked. No petroleum tank. They went away. I hope your baby will be born in a good hour. I hope you and your baby will experience no harm at the hands of others. And here is something else I'm possibly into: forced orgasm, weeping from being caused too much pleasure. Thank you. I just also want to thank Lisa, who just bought the bookstore in town, and the new name for it is Brightside Bookstore, and she's got a couple of my most recent books. These are not out yet, but the most recent books, a book of nonfiction and a book of poems, over there. If anybody's interested, it's a reason to go into the new version of the bookstore. So thank you to Lisa, thanks to Jesse, thanks to everybody for coming out.